Hello my friends, I welcome you all to the Creative Thinkers Hub channel. Today we are going to be learning how to make Royal Cycles company का a logo. We take a pentagon and give it sides 20. Okay, now let's give it a size also 100 by 100, and once that is done we are going to now zoom in and rotate this. Now if we know 360 divided by 20 is 9. Okay, so you rotate it by 9 degrees. Now what we do is that we take this particular thing and from node to node we make a rectangle. Okay, let the height of this rectangle be somewhere around 8 mm. Now what we do, we convert it to curves. Okay, so what happens, any edits that we have made, they all will become 100 by 100. So copy paste this and unlock this and make it 25. So this is what you get. Left align this, duplicate it, and then B and R. So that's where you get it on the right hand side. Now select your hexagon that you made, okay, and come here and say plus. Come here, and so we are adding nodes. Now what is the benefit in using this is that any nodes that I add over here, after adjusting them, any nodes that I add over here are also in these places. Okay, so they will all be there. You see, it's all moving together. So that is the benefit of using a pentagon. You only have to make one node. Okay, you only have to make one gear, and the whole thing is done. Now this middle node is there, delete it. So once that is done, this is what you'll get. Now take a grid line and instead of 0.1 make it 1 mm and move it inside. Same do it for the other end. Move it inside. Now we take this and move it outside. Same for the other end. Okay. Now what you do is come here, select this node, press Ctrl and zoom it. Oh, it's not snapping. So we say activate guidelines and we snap it to the guideline. So then the other end, you see it's happening all around. Now make sure that you're following the same line for the lower one and we are done. Now what we are going to do is rounding. Now rounding of that, you come here dockers and corners. Come into corners and make sure that fillet is on for the rounding and we keep a radius of 2 mm. Now select your object and just say apply. Automatically rounding happens. So unlike what it used to happen in a rectangle where you have to do rounding before you convert it to curves, here you can do it later on also. So that is the benefit. Now we take a circle, lock it, keep it at 85, okay, and CE. Then duplicate that circle and keep it at 25. So this is what you get. Okay. Now what we are going to be doing is we are going to make our gear, the connector. Okay. So come here, make this. Okay. Roughly just make something. It's okay. We are going to edit it later as and how we want our curve to be. Make these two lines as curves. Okay. Once that is done, what we are going to be doing is that, no, I think this is a little too weak. Let's make it a little stronger. Okay. So we just move this outside and we are done. We change this curve slightly. Let's change this curve. Yeah. Okay. I think we are done. Now what you do is trim this with a circle, small circle, and with a big circle you intersect it. So you get your perfect shape. Now what you do, make the center right to the center of the circle, press Ctrl and rotate it and left click, right click. So that's what you get, and then duplicate it all throughout. Now this circle that is 25, you make it 25.5. Okay. Now there's a reason to this, because these trims that we have done, they have a jagged edge. So if you don't want a jagged edge in your final output, it's better to make it slightly bigger. Now you trim everything and weld accordingly. Then you copy paste this design which we have taken from stopgraphicdesigns.com. Okay, they're all free to use and download, so you can take them and then you put it in the middle. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are now designing our gear. So make this as 25 and CE. Okay, right in the center. Reduce it slightly. I think this is good. Okay. Now what we'll do is that we'll in on the connectors, we are going to be putting some design element. Okay, this is also taken from opengraphicdesign.com. You can take these from here. Copy paste them, and then as per what we want, what we don't want, we delete. Okay, what we want, we keep on the side, and then we work accordingly. Let's take this and see how it looks. Okay, no, I think it looks, let's see. Okay, yes, okay, the size is right. And now what we do is we come into the circle, ellipse, press Ctrl, make a perfect circle, make the size 9083, and we see CE, no, it's very small. We increase the size. Yes, I think that is where we want it. So 95, yes, 95 is a good size. And then we copy paste this here and make it at 93, I think. Yeah, 93 will be good. So we have a 2 mm gap. Okay, and then now we select these two circles and trim them and delete the other circle. So now we have this line. Now let's see how this looks. Okay, forget that. We are going to take this big one. Yeah, it has a dot, and there's a lot of things with it. So we rotate this first. We want it pointing downwards, and then change the size. Okay, once we are done with our positioning, we zoom out. Okay, we make it black, we ungroup it, and then we weld it. Okay, so it becomes a single object. Now you take the center and put it at the center of the gear, and then right click, left click, and Control D. So you get it all round. Now select all of them and select the trimmed circle. Okay, and weld all of them. So this is what you get. Delete the unnecessary parts that we don't want. Okay, and now what we are going to be doing is, now we take this circle and we extrude it. We take the gear, so don't take the design one, just take the outer gear, duplicate it and extrude it. Now this extrusion should be only, let's make it only at 10, or let's see if we can go lower than that, and break it apart. Okay, so this is what you're going to get. Now what you do, you group all this. Okay, give it a particular color and CE. Oh, it's gone behind, no problem. Okay, we shift page up and CE. So now it's come here. Now what we are going to do is nudge it down by 1 mm that we are getting. So nudge it down, make the behind one, the gray one that we had, the gear that we had copy pasted and extruded, make that white. Okay. And so what happens here, what are we doing is that we are creating a natural bevel effect. Now press Ctrl and reduce it if you don't want that much of a gap. Okay. So this is becomes a natural bevel. Now what we are going to do, take this circle, the inner circle, ungroup everything, take the inner circle, make it white with no fill. Okay. Now what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be adding color to all this. So for that we come into an interactive fill and get into your this. Now as the color is white, you will get a white gradient all throughout. So you have to select the second color, just let it be this random color. Okay, we'll come here and we'll make the necessary changes here only. Okay, so we come here, make this and change the colors as per how you want it. Okay, so it should be gray. Make sure that you're not going above 50% gray. Okay, see, this is the output that you get. Now we change our base colors also, make this slightly darker. Yeah, because otherwise it's getting lost, it's looking white, it's disappearing. Now, so that is what we can get. Okay, so all our colors are done and we say okay. So this is the kind of effect that you'll get. You give it your desired angle as per how you want it to shine or not, and then then we give this a fixed color. Let's say, so this is how it will look. No, it's too dark. We make this black, fully black. I think it's too dark. Let's lighten it. Okay, I think this is a good color. Yeah. So now once that is done, we are going to now our gear is done. So now it's royal cycles. Now, oh, there's one more thing missing. Now come here, select the whole thing and say no fill, no outline. Okay, no outline means the whole thing is there. Now we take the word royal, we have typed it previously, and we change the font to Queen. Oh, Queen of today. Okay. We do one thing. We make it Queen font. The font Queen. Go up. Yes, this is a royal font. You see that? So now what we do is that we place it here and now we cut this and cut the rest also. And YAL we paste here because our O is going to be made by the gear. Okay, so now what we do, we place it this here and place the R. First we reduce the size, group it. Okay, put a R here and reduce the size of the gear. Okay, and base align the YAL with the R. And now we are going to start working on the grid system. Okay, so let's take this grid, which is, let's say, let's first keep the height 60. Okay, and now what we are going to be doing is convert all these text to curves. Okay, we'll just align this a little bit. This is rough, so don't need to get into those measurements right now. We shift page down this so we can come here, convert all the text to curves. Okay, now you make R of the height of 60. Lock it and make it 60. Okay, and then right and bottom. Now we work on YAL. Okay, now let's do one thing. Okay, so this we'll reduce it a little. Fine, just for safekeeping right now, so that we know that where it is coming. Now we work on YAL. So you take another grid. Okay, let this be 45. Got it? And so we let this be 45, and this we also give it a fixed figure, not right now, later on. Okay, we'll work on the height factor. So what are we doing here is that we are working on 5 mm gapping. Now you see the A is jutting out from the Y and L. So what we do, we keep a grid here, and now we zoom in into A, come into a shape tool and select all the nodes of A. So now we can just cut it and paste it here. So what happens here is that first it was in the group of YAL. Okay, now it is purely separate from Y and L. Now we can take all of them and increase their size, make sure that it is locked, the key is locked, and group them and bottom and right. Okay, so YAL is also done. Now what we are going to be doing is, now we'll take this slightly lower. Okay, because there is a thought process that we have basically gone ahead in the logo. Okay, so in that scenario, this the C of the cycle should be looping into this. So we have to stick to that thought process. Now we come into our alignment. Okay, make sure that this H is 0. So there is no horizontal alignment. And this is, now we just shift it inside. Okay, make sure that this is, you can come here and say left. Now ROYAL, the gap is the same. It may not be exactly the same, but visually it should look like it's the same. Okay, that is most important. Then now what we do is, now we'll work on a gear. So you keep this here, let this be at 55. Okay, and base align it. So we know our gear is 55 mm on top and then 10 mm down. So now we work on the remaining 10 mm also. We duplicate this and we just flip it down here. Okay, so now this is 10 mm. So we unlock it, make it 10, and now we align it to this. Okay, so once that is done, we are kind of, oh, this jutting out, never mind, we'll fix it. Okay, so this is now complete. Now we go on to cycle. Okay, for that we are going to choose the font Scriptina, and then this is what you get. Now we make this 200 point, just so that we get what we are doing. Align it to where you want it first. Okay, now we'll do one thing, we'll make this 150. Okay, and we'll make the C. Now why we make only the C 200? Because if you see, the C, the capital C is looking quite weak compared to the L. Now we move it ahead, and so that CYCLES looks alike. Now there was a gap that was created because the font size of C is bigger than the rest. So we close the gap. Now first we position this roughly. Okay, yeah, this is what we want, that the C should loop into this and the L should go around the A. Now we come here. Oh wow. So this is perfect. Now you see this 65. So again it is, we are in the 5 point gap range automatically. So we are totally sorted. All you need to do is come here, base align this. Okay. And then if need be, come here and now we'll start filling. We take this and we duplicate this. Okay. Now why we are duplicating this? Because this is going to be our black and white logo. Now we make sure that all these boxes that we had created, okay, as our grid are behind. So select all of them, group them and shift page down. Okay. And therefore our R is now in the front. What we do now, we just take this and keep it here. Now why we are doing this? Because now our grid is behind. So whatever we want to do, we can do. Make everything that is slightly in a a vignette, or let's say fountain fill and things like that, make everything white. So this one on the extreme right hand side is our black and white logo, and now we are working on a color logo. Okay, so now let it be blue. Make this rounded edge and 4 point as an outline. So we are done with this. Now what we do, just because we want to work on this, we take this font, put it down slightly, say object, convert outline to object. Okay, once that is done, select both of them and weld them. Why? Because one is our text and the other one is the outline. Now this font, as you can see on the right hand side, okay, in the black and white, is very thin. So we don't want such a thin font. Now on basis of a 65, adjust this logo. Okay, so you might have to play with it slightly. Even better is put a grid on one side. Oh great, this is also 45. Superb. Okay, so we are kind of on target. Whatever that we are doing is just working out fine. Okay, and just adjust this slightly. It's not obviously going to make your hook is going to work, your loop is also going to happen, because you're basically taking it down by a very small way. Now you delete that, take this and put it at the base again once you have duplicated it. Okay, and make this black. So now our black and white logo also side by side we are completing. Okay, take another 45 and keep it here, so that what is happening, that our cycles is perfectly in the center. Delete the grid because it might interfere. Okay, and make this 45. So the swoosh of the S is going to reach 45. So this is perfectly fine. It's looping in the right way, everything is happening. Now we select the gear, copy paste it, and then trim it with our text cycles and delete the things that are not necessary. So now what, the C of this thing is moving behind. Okay, now you group this again and shift page down, duplicate cycles which you had copied before, because we don't want our original to go away, and then just delete a little bit of the C so that you can do this. Okay, we just want the front hook, that is only most important for us. So delete the rest, delete the nodes. Okay, see, delete only till where you know that it is not going to affect your gear. That's it, till here. Okay, now take this and the C stroke should not be affected with whatever cutting you're doing. Okay, so now we zoom in, take a Bezier tool and just make a small shape which is going to cut that little bit extra. Now go into hairline. It's very important to work on hairline because we are working with very delicate things. Okay, we don't want excess to be cut, and then trim it. So now what is happening, that this is now from behind is coming in the front. Got it? And now same way we work with this loop. Now what we do, we intersect. Okay, when we do intersect, you get these kind of small shapes. Now these shapes we do shift page up and make them yellow so that we can see them. Okay, that we know what we want and what we don't want. So we in this you break it apart, ungroup it, break it apart, and this one you delete because that the behind loop we wanted behind and the front loop should yet be there. So make it black so you visually know how it's going to look, and this also we will delete it. Okay, let it be in the front. So only the L is looping behind the A. Now select the small one and trim this so that when if we have to do printing and we need to do work on separation, it will never interfere. Okay, separation of colors. So in that it will never interfere. Now you see the little A. Okay, we take that also and trim it. Okay, that one was left. So now we know that how it's moving. Now what we do, we delete this is of no use to us. We take this cycles and the whole grid. We take the whole grid. Okay, delete the cycles and delete the whole grid. Okay, take the whole grid, cycles, and that don't forget the small loop. Okay, and duplicate it. I think even that gear has come in. I mean the design in the gear, and put it at the node of R. So now once we have put this here, now we change the color of this as black because this is a black and white logo. Okay, so this completes the color option, group it, and the black and white option. Okay, of our Royal cycles. This can also be used for Royal motors considering a gear is also there. Okay, all you need to do is instead of cycles type motors or mechanics or whatever, and this completes our logo. If you like this logo, please like, subscribe, and do not forget to share because only sharing increases knowledge. Thank you.